All right, y'all. Back again with another video. Pels dropped this one. 122 to 112, I believe, is the final score. The reason I'm saying I believe is because I have to go and hang out with my son after this and drop him after the game. And so I'm just now going to be able to do this post game video like some 3-4 hours after the game. So I apologize in advance if this isn't one of my better post game synopsises. Um, so let's talk about it, right? So here's the thing: the Knicks are a legit squad. They play elite defense, the kind of defense we wish that the Pels would play. Um, they truly get after it. They play with tons of effort, and they play with pride. And they work their butts off. Now, Tibbs he doesn't have a whole bunch of what you would call blue collar guys. I mean, he got Randall, but type of guys he got out there: Obi Toppin, post prom Derrick Rose, um, Emmanuel Quigley, I think is his name, uh, Alfred Payton, Reggie Bullock. Uh, these kind of guys, they don't necessarily move the needle for a lot of teams. But he's got a bunch of what I would damn near call cast offs and rejects who've come together to form Voltron. And they come together and play with great intensity and great fervor. Then you got the New Orleans Pelicans. You got the two pillars of the squad, Zion and B.I. Then you got the most notorious, or probably the most infamous name of the squad, Lonzo Ball. And then you got Steven Adams, Bledsoe, and a couple other pieces here and there. Of this team, three of the starters are top two picks or higher. Zion being the only number one pick, B.I. and Zoe being both number two picks, I believe. I think B.I. was number two, if not number three, but I believe he was number two. Either way, they're top five. Steven Adams, I don't think, was drafted until like the 10 to 20 range, and I cannot tell you what Bledsoe was. Regardless, and I think Randall was a top five pick. I could be wrong, but I think he was a top five pick. But the point is, all this talent, a team with collectively less talent just beat you again. Here's the thing, man. Like I said before, they don't play with enough heart, enough intensity. Now, I know people are going to talk about how they came back in the third quarter, but they couldn't close the deal. Lonzo didn't get to play his normal minutes because, damn, my headset fell out. At least my Bluetooth. He's still on the minutes restriction. And what for the life of me, I don't get this. If I got a question Stan on something, it's okay. Why don't you be smart? Just play Zoe with the second unit off the bench, because if you're going to use him, you're playing him first half of all three quarters, and then you basically sit him for over a quarter, and he comes back in to close in the fourth. Now, that's enough time for your muscles to kind of relax and all this other stuff. It's not to say he was knocking down shots today, because he really wasn't. But I gotta question that. At least play him like they did KD. KD came in and pretty much played the second half of each quarter. He didn't start. He came off the bench. If you're staying, you got to play Lonzo off the bench. One, I think it allows you to play Najee Marshall in the starters, who I think is a decent fit, and it gives you something to come along with, with Zion off the bench, because he splits. Zion will play the first 5-6 minutes, sit for like a couple, then come in the last 2 or 3 minutes usually, and finish out. If you put him in the bench, you now got Kira Lonzo, Zion, and either Wesley Wandu, James Johnson, Jackson Hayes to complement what you have in there. And I think it gives you a little bit more balance in that department. You don't have to rely solely on Zion. You can play Zion off the ball because of Lonzo. And you can give Kira a weapon to shoot in Lonzo. I think that would have been better. But let me not get too much into that. I don't want to get too much off subject here. Look, the Pelicans don't have shooting. They're bereft of shooting talent. It seems like during the games, it's either one guy who's making all the threes, but is never a group effort. Stan Van Gundy tried to trap Julius Randle, and they were working it, and it was working for a little bit, but then they went away from it in the second half. And my thing was, the only person really consistently trapping was Zoe. Zoe was literally going from weak side to strong side to trap to get the ball out of Julius' hand. Now, it was working to some degree, but you got guys who don't know, you got to split the difference. If Zoe is going to trap, his man is open. And so if he has to come across court to trap, whoever's there, B.I., Kira, Najee, whoever, you got to split the difference. You got to split the difference. What was happening, Zoe would go and trap, and he would just pass cross court, and whoever stayed was still on their guy, and they left Zoe's man open to still take the shot. And the rotations didn't happen. Now, here's the problem with the Pelicans defense. And like I said, I mentioned this before. The Pelicans defense is meant to do two things. They want to take away the highest percentage shot, which is the interior of the paint, right? Let's just be honest. That's not stupid. That's smart. You want to take away the highest percentage chance of a shot, which is the interior. Great. Next shot you're worried about is threes. So you want to close out hard on the threes and run guys off the perimeter. Great. But there's a problem here. The Pelicans tend to overhelp. It's one thing to help. It's another thing when you're going way too far in your help and now you give your guys wide open looks. It defeats the purpose if your whole job is to give them, you want to run guys into the paint so they have to take contested shots. Fine, that lowers the percentage on the inside, on the interior. But if you got guys helping off of their perimeter help, well, guess what? You just gave them a play to make. You got guys who are not supposed to be helping as far as they are, and they're messing up on their help rotations. And that's literally the name of the game. That's literally how the Pels have been beaten all year. Overhelping and fucking up the help rotations. And you'll hear Antonio Daniels talk about this constantly. This has been a continuing theme since the beginning of the year. It has not changed. Josh Hart is especially notorious for this. He will get his foot deep in that paint area and then have to close out. None of you guys have and when I say AD now, I'm talking about Anthony Davis or Ben Simmons. Y'all don't have that kind of length and athleticism. You can't be virtually in two places at once. Zoe does this too. This is a consistent problem. When you're playing as the New York Knicks, when they run their defense is set. We're going to fall. We're going to retreat on defense in the pick and roll. And we're going to put guys on the elbows. Basically, think of it like horns. Horns is where you have guys on the upper elbows, It's pretty much the same thing except defensively in concept. So when your pick and roll happens at the top of the key, right? You're always going to have three guys in the interior that you have to deal with. Well, why is that a problem? Where do your two fulcrums, the two focuses of your team, like to attack? In that painted area. You're not giving up paint. You still got guys D'ing up. You still got rim protection. And you're still containing the ball. They are not putting themselves at a disadvantage. Pelicans do not do this, which is why they're functionally bad on defense. And we got like 14 games left now. How the hell are you supposed to get into a playing game and you can't even like win the winnable games? I know, let's talk about Lonzo, right? Lonzo made a mistake in the fourth. He got off, he tried to help off Bullock to contain Derrick Rose, who was going for it too when they were up by 3. I'm not going to make an excuse for what Zoe did. He shouldn't have made that play. However, let me make an excuse for Lonzo. His thing, it's not really an excuse. He's wrong. Let's make sure we establish that. He's wrong, right? And Ricky G, shout outs to Ricky G on Twitter. I made the statement on one of his comments. It was as kind of briefly exchanged about it. I said, because he was like, what the hell is Zoe doing? And I said, here's the thing. What Zoe did is habitual. He lost focus and he forgot situational awareness and he helped when he didn't need to. And I said, I've seen plenty of people do this consistently in league. He quotes my tweet and responds, he's like, you're right. I see this happen way too often. I get situational awareness and fucking up. Zoe fucked up. We're not making excuses for that. But this shit happens like literally every fucking game. It just happened at the wrong time. Now, is that why they lost the game? No. Zoe and the team went into overtime again, but Zoe couldn't go into overtime because he had hit his minutes restriction. You couldn't play him no more. They started getting killed without Zoe. Is Zoe the reason they lost? No. Zoe is not the reason they lost. You were down 15, 16 points at one point. Truly, you shouldn't have even been in this game. Once they got you to that point, you should have been in this game. In the third quarter, Bledsoe took over. He got them going. But it wasn't just Bledsoe. Lonzo's defense and passing definitely was the other catalyst because the ball started moving and they started making plays and hustling, and that led to increased energy from the team, and they took off. Which goes to show you this team can work when they play defense. But to the point I've always made even before the year started, Lonzo teams to play at peak have to have one of the best defenses in the league or it's not going to work. Because you want to get out and run. Zoe got a turnover off of Julius and took off down the court. Transition. Simple. Long rebounds. Great. You get the ball. What's going? You're going down the court. You need to play defense. What happened to the Pels? They couldn't play defense. Got in overtime. They couldn't play defense anymore. Sorry. Lost the game because of defense. It don't matter that you were shooting bad for a little bit. You got the game back. Missing free throws, we can throw that in there too. But hey, I've been complaining about that shit for months. It's to the point some of y'all started complaining about the free throws in the comments section. That shit got me. That shit got me live because I'm like, damn. How long I talk about this shit for y'all to catch up? Even y'all talk about the damn missed free throws. And see, had we got to a game where they lost the game in the fourth because they were missing free throws late, y'all would be in this comment section talking about free throws too. I'm consistent. When you miss free throws, that shit pisses me off. And Doris Burke made sure she announced, she was like, hey, credit to Fred Vincent. He got Zoe and B.I. killing on free throws. And they're shooting. He's like, she gave him credit. So kudos to her. I love her, by the way, as a commentator. I love her. She is such a doll. I love her. But this Pels team is an underachieving squad. They're better off tanking at this point. Enrique G brought up a good point, and I hadn't thought about it, but he has a point. He was like, why would you, as a team, want to get into a playing game and only to go home in like 4 or 5 games? Good point. But I would counter that argument by saying this. I could think of about 2 or 3 reasons why you'd want to do that. Number 1, you need guys to get into the playoffs because that's a confidence builder. If you're in the playoffs and you get a taste of it, you get to see what it's like, the way you prepare is going to be different from now on. And the way you see other teams and how they prepare for you in the playoffs is going to open you up to what you have to be ready for going forward. Dwayne Wade is quoted saying he knew he had made it when he got into the playoffs and he started hooping and was like, that's when he had his like, oh yeah, this is my league. I'm meant to be here on this stage. The playoffs is how you build yourself up. So for that reason alone, young players, young teams especially, they guys need to be in the playoffs so they get comfortable. It's number 1. Number 2, I don't care what seed someone is. If you got a matchup advantage against them, they can go down. I'm a Mavs fan. Guess who he lost to in the first round? Baron Davis and Steven Jackson, Golden State. I'll never forget that loss. That loss has scarred me emotionally. Not really. But a good matchup will allow you to upset anybody. So it's not a matter of who gets the seed necessarily, or why you need to get the seed. It's a matter of which seed I get. Because maybe a team don't want to give up their 8 seed, even if they're going to lose anyway. But you might sit there and say, okay, well, this 8 seed, we can beat them. And if you beat them, all hell breaking loose, because that just opens up the bracket. Because now other teams' mentality changes. Like if you get rid of a threat, if an 8 seed beats a 1 seed or a 7 seed beats a 2nd seed, all hell's about to break loose. Because now it's like, this is anybody's game. Imagine, hypothetically, let's just say that the Pels had a matchup advantage against the Lakers. And they got into a playing game, and let's just pretend the Lakers were a number 1 seed. And they got matched up with the Lakers in the playoffs. And they beat them. How do you think that is going to reflect on the rest of the West? Not now, let's go psychologically back to the Pelicans. The guys are going to have a different arrogance about them in the following season. They're going to play a whole lot different with a whole lot more confidence. Matter of fact, that's what happened with the Warriors. They won in the playoffs. They got rid of Mark Jackson, got Steve Kerr, and they went to the finals the following year. Let me get back on track because I know I kind of divulged. But anyway, the point I'm saying is there's reasons to want to get into the playoffs, even if it means you could go home in the first round, right? But It doesn't this seem like the same season from last year? Zoe and the rest of the team got to take a break for basketball, come back in the bubble and start dropping games, and you're just like, what the fuck happened? And now you miss playing game. They even added one this year. You got Steph Curry dropping 33, 42, 44, just killing it. And they're still in the playing game. They holding on, but you can't go beat your matchup Pelicans. Now, again, I didn't get to watch overtime because I don't even know if I said this in the beginning of the video. If I didn't, let me make sure I put this out here. I didn't get to watch overtime because they cut out that game to put on the Brooklyn Miami game. So I didn't get to finish watching the rest of overtime because I didn't have access to it because the NBA decided Brooklyn Miami was a more marquee matchup. Not that I don't blame them, but I didn't get to finish watching the game. So truth be told, I really don't know what happened in OT. I just know Pelicans lost. I'm not emotionally invested in them like that to sit there and just be like, damn, that hurt. Because it don't hurt. It's like the stages of grief. You acknowledge it and all this other stuff. And yeah, it's like that's where we're at. I've acknowledged what the Pelicans are, what they will be. I'm still here to support my boy ZO2. And I'm going to do that. But outside of that, man, look, the team is just what it is. At some point, all hell's going to break loose. You can't keep losing in this league, man, especially when you got talent. You're going to want to leave. B.I. ain't had a winning season yet. He'll be in his 6th year and ain't had a winning season. Not one. Zion been in the league 2 years. Zion has never lost in his life. He's lost 2 years straight. Or really a year and a half straight because he came back in and some losing and he still couldn't get it done. Zoe will be going into his 5th year losing. Never lost in his life. This league is a different motherfucker. I'm just telling y'all right now, this league is not easy. Don't think because you see these guys going out here getting their ass bust that you can go out there and do any better. This is a hard league to win in. And I keep trying to tell people that. This shit is not easy. If it was so easy to win, everybody would have already won by now. Everybody have a ring. That is why you can clearly see a tier gap between the players. When Dame played us, it doesn't matter how good Zion, B.I., or Lonzo were. They were not Damian Lillard, who is a legit top 7, top 8 player in this league. MVP level candidate. God tier players, superstars / false superstars, stars. Dame is in that superstar / false superstar level. MVP level candidate, basically. Jokic, Embiid, AD, Harden. That's where those guys are. That's where he is. Of the star players, Zion is in the middle, and B.I. is like a level below that. There's a difference. A hell of a difference. Julius Randle this year is about where Zion is, if not a tiny bit above him. Only because he's a better all-around player right now. But that's only so little. And Julius has been in the league 6-7 years now. So there's only that much of a gap between a guy who was in his 2nd year and a guy who's been in 6 or 7. B.I. have been in 5 years now, going on 6. Zion is better. But all that to be said, and you still couldn't get it done. I don't know what more I can say, y'all. I need to go figure out who we play next so I know who I need to pull my hair out against. Just a reminder, though, I'll be out of town this weekend, starting Friday. I'll be back Sunday, um, maybe Monday if I have enough fun and I, don't want to leave because I'm engaging in entanglements. But delete that. Anyway, yeah, I'll be out of town for a couple days, so I probably won't be watching any Pels games if there are any. I'll be out there doing my thing, hanging out with friends and stuff like that. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be kind enough to make a video and just hold it and upload it for you guys while I'm out there. Because all it's going to take me to do is YouTube, upload, send. So maybe I'll do that. But if I do that, I should make it controversial. You know what? I got an idea. If you want me to make a video to upload this weekend, give me topics in the comment section. Give me something controversial too. I don't want something that's easy. Give me something good. Give me something that I gotta sit there and think about, and it's gonna challenge me. Challenge me, people. Challenge me all 138 subscribers I have. Give me something in the comment section that I gotta sit here and actually put some effort into. Yeah, man. Go ahead and do that for your boy. That's a good idea. Go ahead and do that for your boy. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Peace.